Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Halloween After Dark. So, tonight it's kind of a special episode. I'm not gonna name names because I don't want to embarrass anybody or anything of that sort. But my daughter is a big part of my paranormal life. She's actually a member of my team. Um, and one of the key members. As that, she gets in touch with a lot of people um, in that world. And uh, she came across this lady who having a bit of an issue. I guess she's freaking out, and she has a daughter, evidently, who is starting to see spirits, much like I do, and it's freaking her out as well. And so I thought the best way I can help them is obviously we're not in the same place. All of this took place on Facebook, so um, it's not like I can go over to this person's house and um, help to alleviate their fears in person. Um, so I figured the best way to do it is actually through my show, um, and by sharing my story. Um, those of you that have listened to my show for a while, you probably already know everything I'm about to discuss. So let me take you on a trip here back in time to the beginning, my beginning. Um, I was very young, um, about 5 years old, and I drowned in a pool. And I didn't just nearly die, I died for minutes. And when I was resuscitated, brought back, I could see relatives of mine looking at me over the shoulders of the people, the actual living people, the paramedics and everything, that they were standing there looking at me, and I knew they were already deceased. They had died. Um, but even at that age, I wasn't afraid of them because I knew who they were. I knew I didn't have anything to fear from them. But then as time went on, noticed a lot more things. Uh, I could see the spirits of the deceased, ghosts in essence, pretty much everywhere. And I could see other spirits that uh, are iconic, uh, angels and everything. Uh, and I could see spirits that the world at large seems oblivious of. Um, and yeah, it was a little scary at first. With some of this stuff, like the first time I saw what I call graveling. And for those that don't know, I'm going to explain it. What a graveling is, and as far as I know, it's the only one that I've ever seen captured on photograph other than the ones I've taken, uh, was episode of Ghost Adventures at Mansville Penitentiary in West Virginia. And it was a still shot taken of Nick, and over Nick's shoulder there's a room with an open doorway behind him, and inside that room you can make out kind of like the silhouette of a file cabinet or something, maybe a bookshelf. And on top of that, there's a little shadow figure with glowing orange eyes. Now, when I saw this episode, I immediately knew what that was because I'd seen him ever since I was a child. They're called gravelings, so if you ever see one, don't get freaked out about it. They're harmless, really. They're not even concerned with the living at all, really. I mean, they know that we're here, but they don't really care. We're not a part of their job. And as far as I can tell, all they do is they're kind of like the sheepdogs of the spirit world. They kind of keep like all the ghosts where they belong. Kind of keep them contained, if you will, so that they don't inadvertently cause too much chaos. The first time I saw an angel was in a hospital. Somebody I cared about was dying. And I was a wreck. And then I look up and there's this glowing white figure with wings. I couldn't see its face. It was because where the face would be was just this bright, bright light. But there was no fear. I wasn't afraid of it. And that made me realize I wasn't afraid of any of it. Even the things that you would think you would fear, I realized that I wasn't afraid. And because I wasn't afraid, they couldn't affect me unless I allowed them to. Which brings me to my whole point. You're experiencing something you've never experienced before. You're starting to experience things that you probably have never believed in your entire life. And this goes out to the mom, who I'm not going to name. And you're understandably scared for your daughter. You don't understand what this means. But I can promise you something. This what your daughter's going through now, I've gone through since I was 5 years old. I'm 48. And I can promise you that two things. You're not crazy, and your daughter's not crazy. That's number one. And number two, you have nothing to fear. So that's lesson number one. Don't be afraid of it. Because here's the thing, and this is what so many people don't understand in it. It personally drives me insane. Is that when you're talking about the spirit world, when you're talking about the paranormal, you find what you look for. So, in other words, if you're expecting nothing but negative and bad things to happen, then that's what's going to happen, because you're going to draw that to yourself. If you see things in a more positive light, if you surround yourself with positive spirits, positive feelings, and positive energy, then that's what you're going to find. And then there's the middle ground, where as a paranormal investigator, I spend most of my time, which is just having an open mind and being open to whatever is there. Which, in your case, I actually wouldn't recommend, at least not yet. Only accept the positive and have no fear. And I know, I get it. That's a tall order. I know you can't just turn fear up, but that's why I'm telling you my story. Because I am proof positive that there is nothing to fear. Some of my fondest memories have nothing to do with the living. They were things that are so beautiful and so personal that it defies explanation. It's a type of beauty 99.9% of the population will never have a clue about. And even if they did, they can't see it. What you've been given is a gift, not a curse. It is something to be cherished and not feared. And I'm living proof. And I know it's going to be hard. And so is the next lesson. It doesn't come naturally to pretty much anybody, what I'm about to say. But you have to try this. And this goes out to the child with the vision. You have to learn how to put up your defenses. And you need to learn how to... Well, you can't really turn it off. It's never going to go away. But you need to understand that's actually not a bad thing. But what you can do is you can kind of, what I like to call it is putting blinders on. And what it is basically is you'll still see them. Like you'll be aware that they're there. But it's like like kind of like flipping a switch, and trying to think of a good way of putting this. Okay, it's kind of, think of it like this. Picture yourself inside a car, and you're in the car, and the car's at a stoplight. Everybody everywhere should know that green means go, red means stop, right? So picture you're in this car, and the car is your personal circle of protection. And I'm going to tell you how to achieve that the easiest way here in a little bit. So the car is your protection. Outside the car, all around the car, are spirits. Now, they're not really worried about you. If anything, all they want to do is talk, because that's what they want more than anything, is the chance to communicate with the living. So you don't have to be afraid of them, because they need you. And you'll find sooner or later that you need them too. But that's a story for another day. So anyway, you're in the car, which is your protection. The car is surrounded by spirits who are like traffic. You know, they're not trying to get in your way. They're not trying to really bother you at all. They're just there. And you're at the stoplight. And the stoplight goes from red to green. Green meaning go. Which means you can go about your day and do what you need to do, whether it be, well, at your age, go to school and be with your friends and basically have a normal life. Sounds pretty good, right? And it is. But see, here's the best part. You control the stoplight. Your gift, the ability to see in this way, gives you that. You just have to learn how to control it. And you will. It just takes practice. And that's something you can do. So once again, you don't have to be afraid. Because you're the boss. They have to follow your rules. So if you tell them, leave me alone right now, they have to leave you alone right now. But at the same time, you have to be open to communicating with them. And you need to come to terms with your gift, and you need to learn that these spirits aren't to be feared. Now, that's not to say that there aren't spirits out there you should be afraid of. Sort of. The point I'm getting at is, if you have no fear, if you just tell yourself that I'm the boss, they have to follow my rules, and you take precautionary steps, which I'm going to get into, they have to leave you alone until you're ready. They'll still be there. You'll still be aware of them. But they have to listen to you. Because when it comes to this, you're the boss. Now, here's the thing with that, though. It's also a responsibility. It is your responsibility to use your gift to help them, if you can. Which isn't always going to be the case. And sometimes all they need is acknowledgement. They need to know that you see them. They need to know that it's okay that you see them. And a lot of the time, once they know that, they'll move on. Okay, so protection. This is going to sound weird, probably, but I'm telling you it's the absolute truth. I can't explain to you the science of why it works, it just works. There is a stone called blue apatite. A-P-A-T-I-T-E. Apatite. That protects against evil spirits. As long as you have it on you, as long as you have it around your house, evil's not allowed. Which means anything evil, anything dark, anything negative that you would have to worry about can't come anywhere near you. So that's the number one way how you protect yourself. The other way, well, it might seem more difficult. It might seem a little hard for you to accept. And I'm not trying to tell you, what to believe in as far as religion or anything goes. That's not my place to tell you. And you'll figure that out on your own, I'm sure, as you get older. But there is this thing called an aura that it's this light, this energy that surrounds all living things. Um, you could even consider it your soul, but it's pure light. And a lot of people believe that the color of your aura dictates certain things about your life and where you're at, and et cetera, et cetera. And there may be some truth to that. Once again, I'm not going to tell you what to believe, but for all intents and purposes, for protecting yourself, it doesn't really matter. Because here's the important bit. What you need to do find a quiet place, like in your bedroom. And you need to go in there by yourself, or at least have absolute quiet. So Mom can be there if you want, but no talking. You need quiet for this. So what you do is you close your eyes. And you picture this warm, beautiful light that surrounds you. And this light that surrounds you, I want you to push it outwards all around you. Like a bubble. But you can push the bubble out farther and farther and farther until it's like a shield that nothing can get through. So what I want you to do is I want you to push it out as far as you can and keep doing it until you can get farther and farther and farther. And before long, you can surround your entire house and not only protect yourself, but protect your family, your mom, and whoever. Because anything evil can get burned by it, like a wall of fire. And it may not come easy. Which is unfortunately kind of the point of gifts like this. If they were easy, they would be worthless. But if you believe in yourself, if you believe you can do anything, it just takes practice. So keep at it. Keep at it until you can surround your house. Keep at it until you can surround your everything. Keep at it until you push as far out as you can possibly go. And then once you've done that, nothing can hurt you, even if they wanted to. So, the blue appetite zone, working with your own aura, for lack of a better term. And the third thing is hard. It is very hard because I'm going to tell you another part of my story. I am a practicing medicine man of Native American descent. I'm a paranormal investigator and have been for 30 years. I've done residential cases many, many, many times. And one of the things that I do is called house cleansing. And what that is I'm basically blessing your house so that nothing evil can live there. Nothing evil can come in. And the way that I do this is with sage and salt. Now, I would like you to try this for yourselves. But if you really need help, you can reach out to me. Sarah, knows how to get a hold of me. So, anyways, so the thing is you have to have absolute faith in it. That's how it works. Regardless of whatever your personal beliefs are, it doesn't really matter. You have to have absolute faith that sage works, because it does. And the reason I can tell you so certainly that it does is because I've done almost 500 house cleansings to date, and I have never had a return visit. Meaning it worked right the first time, because I have absolute faith that it works. Okay, so anyways, here's what you do. Use salt as kind of a barrier, because salt is actually very, very pure substance, not only physically, but spiritually. And so what you do is you put a line of salt around, across every entrance into your home except for one. Okay? So every door that leads into your house, every window that leads into your house, you put a line of salt across the seal at the bottom. Okay? And then you have one entrance. Let's say your front door. Okay? It doesn't have a line of salt across it. And this part's important. And this is it's to everybody, but I think it would be best if the girl with the vision does it. And what you do is you light the sage so it smokes. Do yourself a favor. If you have smoke detectors, turn them off when you do this, because it's just trust me, it's better. Anyways, so you light the sage and you walk the smoke out in front of you, and you go through every room in the house. You go, if you have an attic, you go through the attic. If you have a basement, you go through the basement. You go through every single place you can go in your house. And you go in kind of like a circle. So you start in one room, and you kind of circle around back to that room after you've been to every single room in the house. And then, let's say the living room, for example. So if there's anything evil, anything negative in your house, what you're doing is you're pushing it right out your front door. And once you go out your front door with it, you put a line of salt across the seal of the front door so it cannot get back in. That eliminates anything evil or negative coming into your house. And without that kind of presence there, you have absolutely nothing to fear at all. And here's the thing. You can get cleansed. You can get baptized. You can get whatever done to you. This gift is forever. And it should be. Because, and here's the thing. Here's where the payoff is, if you will. This gift, I know it may not seem like that now, but it will. And when it does, you'll realize the same thing that I did. The same thing that, you'll see the same thing that I've seen. That the spirit world, the paranormal world is far, far more beautiful than anybody thinks it is. And that gift, being able to see that beauty for the rest of your life, is not something you would want to throw away anyways. Trust me. And even if you did somehow throw it away, it wouldn't be gone forever. So my advice to you is don't even try. I know that sounds really scary, but I promise you, you have nothing to be afraid of. And I'm here. Anytime you need help, all you got to do is reach out and I will help you. If possible, I'll even come to your house. And I'll do everything I just explained to you myself. If that's what you want, if you want your house cleansed, I will do that. But being able to see them, you don't have to be scared of that. Because honestly, it is a gift, and it's a beautiful gift, and it's a responsibility. And it's one you should be very proud of. I am. If I could give you the pictures of the things that I've seen, if I could take it out of my mind and put it into yours, you would completely understand that there's no reason to be afraid. And that it's beautiful anyways. So why would you be afraid of something that's beautiful? Why would you be afraid of a butterfly? Can't hurt you. And it's pretty. It's the same thing. It's the same kind of thing. Like, yes, there are definitely things. There are insects in the insect world that could hurt you. But there's a lot of beauty there, too, if you look. It's the same thing with the spirit world. Yes, technically there are things out there that could hurt you. But if you do the things that I've described to you, if you do what I've told you, you'll have nothing to fear from them. And then you'll see the spirit world, the paranormal world, whatever you want to call it, is much more beautiful than you first realized. And I guarantee you, maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe it'll be 20 years from now, but there will come a time when you'll look back at your good friend, Jay, and you'll say, thank you. Because, sweetheart, without a doubt in my mind, you have nothing to be afraid of. Nothing. Alright, folks, well, that's my show for tonight. Until next time, my pack, my tribe, peace.